project. So a couple camps already, a couple day practices already into camp right now. What have you seen so far, and what has it been like for you?
I would say the team has better structure. Nothing is taken lightly. We all have a standard to meet, and I would say camp so far we're getting better, probably 1% every day, which is the goal for us this season.
Quadric, what are your personal goals for the season? How do you want to improve?
My personal goal this season is to make a name for myself. I know last year I was a freshman. I didn't really get to play much because of the seniors who were ahead of me, but I still got the opportunity to learn under them because I didn't redshirt. So I was at every game, taking in every tip and everything. So I would say this year, just making a statement.
Quadric, to kind of talk more about last season, what did you take away from that experience? I know it was a different kind of season, but you got a little bit of playing time and everything. What did you learn, and maybe did you get some assistance from some of the older guys?
I would say last year I learned that this is a business. People take the little things and make them bigger. Kickoff, special teams, and everything. I thought coming from high school I was like pretty much it wasn't much, but coming in this year, I know special teams. Even though you might not get into the game, special teams you have to make a name for yourself. Because you get in special teams, make a big play, next thing you know, you're offense and defense.
Quadric, UCF had multiple guys drafted at the defensive back position: Aaron Robinson, Richie Grant, Tay Gowan. What does that mean for you to have that opportunity eventually to live up to that legacy? And what do you learn from those type of guys?
Well, from those type of guys, I basically learned, I would say, different tips and things, I would say, to help me perfect my craft for this year. Not taking the small things so lightly because they could come bigger.
How big was it for you to have a full summer off-season strength and conditioning program? I know you really didn't have that a year ago with everything going on, but was that productive, and did you see some gains in there this summer?
Oh, it was highly productive. Coming from last year, not having a summer, we were like out of shape. Coming into this year, when we had that summer practicing with Coach Dawson early in the morning, running and everything, like you can see how out of shape we were. But then towards the end of the summer, everything became clear that like he is doing this for our benefit. So when we're in the fourth quarter versus a tough game, we won't be the ones folding.
Camp getting underway, how would you describe the identity, the attitude of the defense?
Our defense, I would describe our attitude as we're hungry. It was like last year we were taken lightly. People would say we were the worst defense to play. I mean, like the best defense to play against in terms of scoring against us because we gave up a lot of points last year. Reason why we were 123rd. So coming in this year, we have a lot to prove. We have a chip on our shoulder.
You look at that secondary. You mentioned the chip on the shoulder. I was just going to ask. The mantra of this team has been count on me. I mean, is that kind of what does that mean for you guys, and what does that mean as you move forward as a defense?
Count on me. It basically means that you can count on me to handle my responsibilities. I'm accountable for everybody on the team. We all hold each other up, no matter if you're a freshman or a senior. We have to be able to account on you because if we can't, then we can't really use you on the field.
What is the position you're competing for right now? Is it one of the safety spots?
For me, I'm versatile.
Okay.
I'm competing for night and both of the safeties.
Okay, so do you have goals for this season as you get into camp? Are you looking to maybe to earn a starting job, or what do you want to try to accomplish in your second year?
My goal is to earn a starting spot and make a name for myself on the field.
What do you think that takes?
I would say it takes a lot of dedication, staying up late nights, going over film, going over the small things in the film room with the coach, or pretty much going outside by myself, perfecting my craft.
I know a lot of things have changed over the last this calendar year with the new coaching staff. Just how have you bought in, and how have your teammates bought into all the changes? Gus Malzahn coming in, new defensive staff. How are the guys enjoying everything so far?
This year, I spoke to all the players pretty much. They say they like it this year because the coaches, they have a structure. They don't contradict themselves when it comes to any player. There's a standard. Either you meet it or you don't.
Quadric, you guys added some players from the transfer portal, some guys with experience. What have they been able to bring to you to this team, and what have you noticed out of them so far?
I would say majority of the people that we brought into the portal, they brought competition. Because coming from the schools that they came from, I would say bigger schools, they basically want to compete. They want to start a job. They don't want to be secondhand to anyone. So that just brings more competition to make each player better.
I want to go back to something you just said. You mentioned contradicting each other, coaches. What do you mean by that? What was a mixed message approach that you guys were told?
I would say in terms of there's no I would say favoritism. Even though they say it wasn't any favoritism, you can clearly see it as a player firsthand.
Quadric, what do you like to do when you're not playing football? Any hobbies you got or passions outside the game, off the field?
I would say sometimes I play the game, sometimes I read. I prefer to read more because like I read for hours upon hours and get lost in time. Then I look at the clock and it's 5 o'clock and I'm like, oh, it's not been reading for 3 hours? I like reading comic books sometimes. Comic books and sometimes I would say fantasy novels. Not really. I just read anything that sparks my interest.
So I got two-part question. One is DC or Marvel, if you're talking about comics. If you have
That's a hard one to go with. I would say, dang, that's kind of hard to go with. Because I read deeply in both, so I'll have to come back to that.
That's okay. That's okay. And the other question is, you guys have competed against Dylan on the practice field. What have you noticed from his development? He's looked like he's kind of bulked up a little bit, added some weight. What have you seen so far out of Dylan and his drive at quarterback?
He's more mature. He's way more mature than last year. Last year, he used to goof around a little bit. I would say we all did because of the COVID situation. We didn't take the season lightly because it didn't count. But I would say this year he's more mature. He's taking things more seriously because if he balls out this year like we hope he does, which I expect him to do, either way it's Dylan Gabriel. But if he balls out, like he's going to be a high draft. So I expect him to be the leader of the team the whole season. You're welcome.